Hi. As you might be able to guess, I'm not in my usual place at home today, but I did want to uh, share a video that I have had in mind for a little bit that I think is an interesting way of introducing ourselves to the Asiddha aspect of the grammar before we dive into quite a number of new sutras, all of which exist within the Tripadi. So today we're going to go back to a sutra we discussed quite a long time ago. It's just the 11th video, including the Akshara Samamnaya, so it's pretty early on. And in the video of this sutra, the sutra is 1112, the video is number 11, and the sutra is Adasomat, Adasomat. Now, not very many people have actually watched this video, so I advocate that the more you take this study and this work to heart, the better idea is to go back and watch these early sutras at least once in sequence, and this one in particular. But I will review some of the high points. And the reason why I'm returning to it is because actually when I made the first sutra, probably 4 years ago, I gave a preview of Asiddhatva as it's manifest in the sutra. And of course, that was kind of what we'd call a long shot at that point. But now it is a great example of the function Asiddhatva can have in producing an important, accurate construction form. So putting this in context, Adasomat is one of the sutras that gives pragrihya. Of course, when we first looked at it, what pragrihya was is a little bit of a mystery. But now we know exactly what it was, and the sutra that makes it happen, Pluta pragrihya achinityam. Pluta pragrihya achinityam. When a vowel, an ach, follows either a pluta or a pragrihya vowel, they both stay exactly as they are. There's no sandhi changes. So the sequence of pragrihya sutras, which we've talked about before, is interesting that they are at the very beginning of Ashtadhyayi. And the first one is Idu de dvivachanam pragrhyam. Idu de dvivachanam pragrhyam. It's the sutra which precedes this, 1.1.11. Idu de dvivachanam pragrhyam. Dirga I, dirga U, dirga A in dvivachana get the name pragrihya. Dirga I, dirga U, dirga A get the name pragrihya. So this is the first of the follow-up sutras, Adasomat. Looking at this a little more closely, Adasaha Mat, Adasaha Mat. Adasaha is Shashti of Adas. Now, we are very attuned to the idea of Shashti Sthana Yoga, Shashti Sthana Yoga. So we're always looking around to see if this is Adasaha Sthane somehow. But it's not. Because, again, when we, ever since we started talking about Shashti Sthana Yoga, we've also put in the caveat that it applies when ordinary functions of adas are not involved. In this case, adasaha is shashti of adas, but it is not sthane. It's one of the customary forms of shashti, And it's svasva swasva mibhavaha mibhava svasva mibhava, which I think is probably related to the Sutra 1167, Shashti Sheshe. In any case, the gist of that is that in this use of Shashti, it conveys that something pertains to something else, something that pertains to something else. So not stane, svasvami bhavaha, svasvami bhavaha, sorry. So, well, what pertains to what? So then we have mat. Mat is panchami of panchami of And before we think about the panchami part of this, the gist of this combination, adasaha is an pertaining to a das, So we'll come back to that a little bit more, what exactly that means. Now, mat is panchami, and we have the sutra. I'm just looking for the number, but it doesn't matter. Tasmadi Tutarasya. So the one in Panchami refers to the one which follows. So the gist of this is the one that follows the pertaining to a das, the pertaining to a das. Well, what does that mean? Well, a das is an interesting form in itself because it's what's called an anukarana shabda, and it stands for itself, meaning the sound adas, not the meaning of the pronoun. It's the sound adas, and the sound adas is a way of describing all of the forms of the pronoun adas. As an anukarana shabda. So now we have a little bit better way of thinking about what does it mean for the pertaining to a das. Well, there are several that pertain to a das, including a mi, which we'll come back to in just a moment, and a mu. So there is no example of an a following an pertaining to a das. There's no a me. So that carries along technically in Anuvritti, but it's not relevant. We're going to look at ami and amu. So taking those bits together, we get the full sutra of adasahamat it ut et pragrihyam. Adasahamat it ut et pragrihyam. So thinking back to the preceding sutra, idu de dvivachanam pragrihyam, what's the big difference? The big difference is it does not say dvivachanam. So adasahamat it ut et pragrihyam is not limited to dvivachana, and it is saying the iua, dirgha iua, which follows the of a das, gets the name pragrihya. So that is adds up to two possibilities, and here's examples of each of them. Ami ishaha. So ami is not dvivachana, it's bahuvachana, but the e is a dirgha e, which follows the pertaining to a das. So ami is pragrihya in relationship to ishaha, and there is no sandhi in that construction. It stays forever as ami ishaha. Now, what we're really getting at here is the following. Amu asate. Now, A mu is actually dvivachana. So why is this an example of the somat? If it's already dvivachana, then idu de dvivachana pragrhyam has it covered as being pragrhya. And this is where asiddhitva comes in. Because a mu is actually derived from a day by a sutra 8 to 80, which is deep inside or inside the asiddhitva portion. What that means is that the change of a di to a mu is invisible to idu de dvivachana pragrhyam, the preceding sutra. So as far as that goes, it's the idu de dvivachana pragrhyam does not apply to amu because it only sees a day. It doesn't know any amu. That's all happened in a different dimension, and it remains a day. And in that sense, it's doesn't fall into the amu of the sutra of the somat. So since it's invisible and we want it to be pragrhya, that's where Adasomat comes to the rescue. It comes to the rescue because it explicitly includes the dirgha u, which follows an m, which pertains to a das, and then we get the correct outcome, which is the u is pragrhya, and we have the example of amu asate, and it stays pragrhya, and nothing bad happens. There's no sandhi where there shouldn't be, and this is a wonderful, I think, example that we already have in our background of how asiddhitva can be very, very practical, and how the grammar compensates for the quirks of asiddhitva. So this sutra, which was sitting there at the very beginning, is an example of compensating for an invisible change in the asiddhitva portion of the grammar.